So what we have here is the Mongar 2. It's a twin wall tent, but the inner is fully mesh. More on that later. Size, it comes pretty much like this, 1700 millimeters by 200. Obviously it's circular, but you can compress it much better than that. Incidentally, it's Nature Hike, and it seems to be a copy of the MSR Hubba Hubba. Now for us, money was an issue when we were buying this tent to do our hike in the Yorkshire Dales, because we were the victims of a robbery, burglary, whatever you want to call it, and a lot of gear that we've had a long time got stolen. So we had to replace a lot of stuff. So some things we spent a lot of money on, other things we just went budget. So this is budget. We bought this AliExpress for about £56, and we've actually got a Vestibule, which I'll show you as well, which is about the same money. This comes in weight wise at 1800 grams, so it is pretty lightweight. It's 20D silicone coated nylon. So to compress this more, if you're willing to just separate the bits that come with the tent, you can get it down with a compression sack about half, I would say. Yeah, just about half. So that comes in at as you can see, 250 millimeters, 10 inches or thereabouts. So let's pitch it. It comes with the inner, the fly, a useful, very lightweight little mat or footprint, as we call them, tend to call them in the UK. And the thing is, you just lay this down first. Dries very, very quickly. You can see how lightweight it is. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. I just wrapped it in tissue to stop them rattling. So just peg a corner out. There we go. So yeah. Very usefully, it actually comes all bungees together, as you can see. Obviously faster with two, but quite easy to put it up with one person. And you just locate it in these little lugs, and this frame looks just like the MSR. Go. So that's that. Let me just throw that in. Again, locate those underneath. See how quickly this is going to go. I'm sure you can see. So it's freestanding. Take those out, it's freestanding. But if you pretty much know where you want to pitch it, just anchor it down. There we go. So we opted for a vestibule. We didn't think we'd have enough space. We actually did have enough space. I'm about 5'6", and we actually got our bags. Two of us fit in there comfortably. Obviously, there's two access doors, and we actually got our bags at our feet on a few occasions. So just to recap, this is the vestibule. Cost about the same as the tent, but we thought we might need it, so there we are. We didn't use it in the Dales in the end, so our bags were too heavy. Okay. So that's the vestibule and how it links to the main tent. I'd probably venture to say that it would fit on the MSR. There's two ventilation pockets, and there is a little spacer so you can open that up. Seen some tents have a ventilation pocket but no spacer, so that's quite useful. On each side. Pretty much. So you've got 2 metres there, width, which obviously is the same length of the tent, and right into the nose you've got almost another 2 metres. So that is an absolute huge area. So if you're multi-day staying at a campsite, that could be really useful. You can get all your gear, all your cooking done in there. The fly just goes straight over the top of everything, apart from the vestibule. Flip my side. So we'll just peg out the corners, show you what it looks like when it's fully open. Again, the 4 corners just locate down onto where the footprint was. So it's really easy to pitch. So we didn't try out the vestibule, and for sure it'll be less weather resistant, I think, because it's just going to rain, it's going to come through, but who knows. But certainly for warmer climates it'll be fine, and it is a load of space inside. Just locate underneath. And everyone has a little strap adjuster to tighten it all up. And of course you've got the guys. So inside, as we mentioned before, 2 doors. The tent it came with a gear loft, a couple of pockets in the end, so it's not a lot of pockets really. The main thing for us is that it kept the rain away. It did rain quite heavily one night, there was no problems whatsoever. The wind's a different matter. The tent coped structurally with the wind, but because of the full mesh you could just feel drafts all night. And I did try and get the fly sheet as close to the ground as possible, and there is a tub, but we found that we could feel cold drafts coming through on the tent. So whilst it's a 3-season tent, probably in a warmer climate that'd be true, but in the UK, on the dales and the moors, I wouldn't like to think we were using this in anything but late spring through to summer. So that's it really. That's the tent. I'm sure there's lots of information we've not mentioned, but you've got the weight, you've got the price, you've got what we think about it. The winds were strong enough, incidentally, that this was happening. So, although we couldn't measure the wind at the time, we can now. The tent did stand up to the wind, but it was collapsing this pole here. Obviously it just springs back. That's it really, not much more to say about the tent. We've got a couple of tents. My Mountain 25 didn't get stolen, which was good because I've had it 20 years. And a review of that would be interesting because I have used that over the decades, and I've been to Nepal to about 6,000 metres camping in it. Camped in the crater of Kili and went to Camp Berlin on Aconcagua, which is about 7,000 metres. But the Mountain 25 silicone is a serious tent, and it weighs over 4 kilos. I think it's 4.5 kilos. But when you want something that's just going to sit there with no problems, then you need a serious tent. Obviously, I'm not saying this is a toy tent, but it's great. It does what it does. But I would limit it, as we've said before, to late spring and summer camping, for which it's spot on, and for the money you can't go wrong. Although there's cheap tents about. We just purchased a Huli 2, just over £100, a Huli 2 etc. So it's got a vestibule again. See a theme here, we like vestibules. Just like to faff and have everything nice and neat. and a friend of ours has got the Van Gogh Soul 2, I think it is. So if we convince him to come along and show us it, anyhow, if anyone's interested, if you want to see this in action, then you could visit Martina's YouTube, which is MKR Hike, and you can see us hiking away with our huge rucksacks. Look ridiculous, and it's far too much weight, but there you go.